getting back to this, what I was talking about with it, I wanted to tell you that when my lady friend she was with me, and I told Lena, I says, Lena says, it's just amazing. I said, you just keep going. I said, it says, this was 15 years ago when we played, and I said, I said, that show, I said, just made chills run up and down my spine.
Yeah.
My lady friend looked at me, she said, well, honey, I thought I was the one that made that happen. I said,
talking about Lena Horne. Yeah. How old do you think Lena Horne is, Jack? You trying to get 70?
Goes on too.
Yeah.
Well, she's got to be 71, huh?
Yeah. Do you ever notice the quality? I was thinking, like, we Jack and I, we've been listening a lot of times to records of drummers in the 30s and the 40s. It seems like there's some quality, I don't know what the heck it is, that late 60s, it kind of disappeared. But there's
studio.
Yeah.
I think it's the way they set up the thing.
Yeah, the studio music, yeah.
But I'm talking about, in other words, if I watch, like Papa Joe Jones, for example, play, there's something about the way he plays, the feeling I get listening to him that I don't get from, I can't think of anybody really on the scene now.
I understand what you're saying.
And I've been trying to figure out what the heck is that, what changed.
He's one of the few in the business who knew how to keep time.
Yeah, well, you say, look, hey, now you hit a mouthful. That's right. He's hitting it. He's giving it. That's right. You're hitting it on the head because it's true. There's so many of the drummers who have forgotten basically what that instrument is for. Yeah. Before all of the soloing and all the rudiments and the flashy throwing the sticks up in the air and all that, which is good. Yeah. But the main thing is to keep, and this is one of the things that I loved about Monk. What he used to say, keep the time, keep that. Regardless, he says, if you're going to do something, make sure you can do it within, the meter. Right. If something comes to your mind and you figure that, you can do it, he says, but unless you are sure, don't attempt it. Not while you're performing, not while you're on stage right at the concert. Mm-hmm. He says that's what they call a woodshed. He says the woodshed, go in back in the woodshed and get it together, but keep the time. So he says he'd rather for you just to play straight and don't play anything at all, drum than to bust in and mess up the time.
But what about like accompanying, like egging the soloist on, or that's an art too.
Right. That's true. Egging them on. Well, that's what that new, as you know, the new style. It has to do a lot with the bebop style of drumming. Because it was a style that would anticipations of the beat and dropping little dynamics that would edge the musician on to play more, because he'd hear that the drummer would kick in there just like the piano player would lay the chords in there, doom, it would comp and boom, dum, dum, and then the drummer boom, 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 bam. That's one of the things that the new style, that
the
bebop, did for a soloist. Mm-hmm. Especially when you had to do it tasty. Now it had to be tasty, because there are a lot of musicians would say that if the drummers wouldn't be tasty, they'd be played. They call it too busy.
Right. Jack's favorite. He's a big bebop fan,
Yeah. It would be your guy. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
I like the power and the drive, and I was always taught. Mm-hmm. One reason I wanted to be a drummer. There's only one of them. Not a whole brass section.
Yes, right, yeah.
Of course, there's only one guitarist, one piano player, but the hell, half the time they know they're there. Except for Count Basie.
Bleep, yeah. Right. This guy, bleep.
Yeah. I always thought the drummer there is to back the band.
Yeah, to be right.
You get a few solos here and there once in a while. Mm-hmm. There to drive it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
When I was a kid on Broadway, Ringgold's rehearsal studio up on the second floor of an old loft building. And it was a hot summer day, no air conditioning. And they were running through some new arrangements. And quite a few kids, a lot of them were in the Army then.
Yeah, in the Army, yeah.
Oh, for 50 cents you could go in and watch and listen. Somebody put a metronome on this guy.
Oh boy. Tick-tock.
Well, I don't want to tell you.
You get it, huh?
Sad.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
They put a metronome for keep time, huh? To keep. It was one of Monk did. That's one thing Monk, and that's one thing I was looking for him to do: bring a metronome.
Bring a metronome. Did you guys rehearse a lot with Monk's band?
Would you believe that if I ever tell you that we haven't had one rehearsal, not one rehearsal? I mean, as when I played with him for 3 years.
Yep.
And
never rehearsal.
Monk would say, look, he'd say he says what he does is he listens to a guy play or whatever, and he says he's able to detect by just going in wherever it is, if it's a session, jam session. And well, that's what he did when I told you when I got the job. He has at a session. He just happened to be there.
Yeah.
And he heard. And he says, "Come join the band." Fix us. So I figured, in most cases, if a leader comes up and gives you that approach, it's going to be 3-4 weeks later, or he just met you and figure, hey, look, come, we're going to get together and. Well, get together so I'll get the feel of each other, and and about what's the time do you have for yourself? Figure it's another 2 months, so I'm. Hey, yeah, sure, I'd like it. Well, when was we had a job. So when is it? He says that's tomorrow night. It's tomorrow. I said
that's giving you time.
So I says, when do we go? When do we hit the 5 spot? He says it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
He says, just come on in, man, and bring this away. I says, well, what was the uniform? He says, anything you put on is your uniform. He says, he says, I know you got, you ain't gonna come in there. I know you gonna, come in, presentable. You ain't gonna come in there with your overalls on, and you walking out. I have to tell you, so whatever you wear would be your uniform. So I said, well, look, Monk. I said, okay. He says, all I want you to do is just swing like you swing in the night. He says, so I'm saying, wait a minute, I've met my match now.
Yeah.
I've been playing with guys going to say, hey, Frank, look, we show you wear a shirt. Look, hey guys, how about you want to wear sport coats and dark pants or gray pants? Well, look, we'll get together. Well, first we want to think about the uniform. We're gonna get together and kind of get the feel. Look, well, what are you doing next week? What Wednesday? He's telling me, the first place, I'm really flattered by him just to come up and to say, not
join the band.
Just to say that he liked my playing. I had just got to New York in 1957. It was really. I just got to New York when he happened to be at come.
So the first night you were talking about where we threw the drum solo in the real slow tempo.
Well, now that wasn't at the 5 spot, but you see that was the first place that I couldn't work. I stayed there 3 nights because I didn't have enough time into the 802 Union.
Okay.
You see, so happened?
How about with the other quartet?
I came back when the 5 spot had moved from 3rd Street over to 8th Street to Waverly Place.
Right.
Now that was the 5 spot that he got up and walked away, and I did the solo.
Right. But then no rehearsal with that. I mean, when you took that job, it was just
no rehearsal. No.
Wow.
No, that's right. And not only that, no rehearsal then. Another thing he told me, he says, when he saw me the first time, because I had my cymbals and my snare drum and my set, because I was really hard there that particular night for the session, the jam session.
Yeah.
He says, cats, I'm coming with these new horns and these shiny trumpets, and so usually I find, the shinier and then the the more beautiful the horns are, the less the sadder these cats sound, the less they can play, you know. And I said, well, he says, even you, man. He says, now when I saw you playing up there, if you had these cymbals and sparkling, man, blinding me in the eye and stuff and all this shine. I wouldn't have hired you because I know you didn't have a chance, you know, to get in, to get that mellow. You know, you can't get that cat just go buy a new horn. Look at Kenny Dunn. As much as he plays, you know, he was playing, you know, Kwame used to play with me, and he had his horn, you know, that was needed an overhaul and turned green and shit. He said he played this shit out of that horn. But he says, look at Charlie Rouse, and he's right because Charlie Rouse got rubber bands, he got tape, he just needs an overhaul. It's, you know, leaves all the lacquer is off of it, but he says, look at Charlie. He says, Charlie, you know, he says, if Charlie had come with me with a new Busher horn, sparkling, said he would forget it. He said, because you don't have time. You don't have time to get adjusted to the instrument. You just bought it. He says. Yeah. No matter what I mean, these are the things, Scott, that I was seeing. That these things I laughed at them, and they're still funny. But when you boil it down, these geniuses of music, when they say certain things, they do make sense. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of truth in it. I mean, but it's just the way that he put it. It's, you know, it's funny. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's really it's when you stop. But that's the way he was, and it made sense.
Didn't he have? Somebody said he had a piano in his kitchen.
A piano in his kitchen. That's right, in his kitchen. That's right, in his kitchen. The piano was in the kitchen. Yeah.
That thing full of smoked ham.
Yeah, that's right.
What was it? Baby grand? Did you have a baby grand?
Well, I don't know. No, I don't think it was a baby grand. I think it was a piano that stood up against. It was a piano like this one, an upright.
He kept it in his kitchen.
In his kitchen, right up against the wall, right next. That's the truth.
Well, this way you wouldn't have to worry about where you were going to get your food from. I got to build a piece of wood for underneath there, Jack.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, which part?
Under here, there should be, there's like little dowels sticking up, and there should be a piece of wood that clicks up, and you can fold it down. So I got to get a piece of maple or something that's stained.
I got lots of pine, though. I don't know
Pine might do it too.
Yes, but that piano's in tune, Scott.
You can have sessions in here, you know. You just get a bass and some drums and cook, you know.
That piano is in tune, and you know it's amazing. It's got a beautiful sound. Oh man, yes, and another thing too, the bottom is off, which is another reason that it's ringing with such good, you know.
Yeah, the sound's coming out of the thing.
Yeah, because if the bottom is off, man, you take the average any piano player, man, whether he played jazz, concert, or whatever, man, he would love that because not only that, the action is good. See, that's what Monk was. Okay, this is what we're talking about.
Yeah, the old beat up.
You see what I mean? This is why I can feel what he was speaking about years ago when he said to me, even though I probably wouldn't have that, you know, that wouldn't have registered for me. Say, for instance, if I had during that period, you know, came into your house, played the piano, and heard that type of, and I probably, you know, it's just, you know, I play a little piano, I just walk away and whatever, say, boom, boom, well, it's good, you got to, but what he spoke to me about age. About something having a chance to develop and get the sound. That's why Mel Lewis almost went crazy when he heard he lost those cymbals. He put more of a what do you call it when you want to get something back?
Ads?
He put ads, but he put a
reward.
A reward.
Yeah.
He put a reward out in Downbeat magazine.
Somebody stole his cymbals?
Stole 5.
Oh, man.
He always took them. He took those cymbals with him just like I take my purse, you take your wallet or your car keys. And he almost cried like a baby because I know Mel, you know, I know how
he's had those cymbals since the 40s.
Wait, the ones he says, you know what he said, told me? He says, look, he says, Frank says, I got 2 of them there. There was cymbals that because his father was a drummer. He worked at McVan's.
Yeah.
And one of those cymbals, or either 2 of them, his father had.
Wow.
For one, he says that now, It shows you how seasoned and how old that cymbal was.
Yeah.
But that was one of the best ones.
Yeah.
That he did. He cried like a baby, you know. And the others were 5.
He's got. I see this pic. Let me see this, Jack. Let me get this.
Yeah. You keep it in shape and like it, you can get more than that. Just like an old car.
You still have the same stuff you use with Monk, cymbals, drums?
I have the same cymbals, but not the same drums. I do just the same as Mel Lewis.
Same cymbals? What'd you use?
Right, I got 2 of the same ones, yeah.
2, right? You had 2 on either side?
Yeah, well, I've got that before we're playing with Hampton. I've added a couple more, because with the big band.
Yeah. So what's your basic? What's the ride?
Yeah, the ride, on the right, just like Mel has that one.
What is
the only thing I have is that's the sizzle. See, I have a sizzle on the right side.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
What? Yeah, there's sizzle.
With little loose rivets.
Yeah, rivets. Yeah, sizzle. Right. Or sizzle rivets of them. Right. And it rivet. Yeah, before.
I had one that had some Chinese junk painted all over it.
Oh yeah, well, Dizzy would have loved this guy. Yeah. He'd have loved to play with you, because he wouldn't have had no opposition. I mean, not opposition, but he wouldn't have had no gripe because you came there with the appropriate instrument. Because a lot of those drummers, they come in and they're not used to that sound, or they've never, you know what I mean.
The Chinese cymbals, yeah. What was the drummer's name with Rudy something?
Rudy.
You know what I mean?
I'll
he
tell
had
you,
the worst sounding ride cymbal in the world.
Well, that was the one that Dizzy.
You should have heard this thing, Jack. It sounded like a garbage can. Oh, man. What the heck was his name? Rudy something.
I know him so well. Yeah.
Oh, what's his name, right?
Wait, Jesus Christ! It's been so long. Rudy.
I want to say Williams. That's a trumpet player.
No. Rudy Williams is right. Rudy.
I can't help it.
You say
I don't think I got him on any records either. I think I threw those out.
Since I stopped drinking, I can't remember anything.
You can't remember nothing. You got to get your little Rudy. Wait a minute.
I don't know. Rudy shit.
It'll come. You know what? It's right on the tip of my tongue because I know the guy so well.
But oh man, he had a bad sounding cymbal. So you got rid of those old Slingerlands? The ones you had, whether they fall apart or
they fell apart. No, I got it, but I still have a lot of the heads.
So what do you play now? You're still with Slingerland, right?
No, I'm not with Slingerland now. I've been anticipating going with the company over in France.
France.
Yeah, well, they have offices over there. I mean, they have a shipping department and also a couple departments in France. What's those? Sonor. No, Sonor.
Sonor drums. Okay, yeah.
Sonor.
Yeah.
I did. I was trying to think.
They're in Massachusetts too. That's where the American distribution is, right up outside of Boston.
It is?
Yeah. Alden Music. Sabian Cymbals just.
Sabian. No, right.
Okay. That's where all the American Sonor drum. That's a nice drum.
Oh yeah, it's
very expensive.
Very expensive. I mean expensive.
Especially like that Babinga wood, the thing Jack Deja. One bass drum. Mm-hmm. 18 by 14 or 18 by 16. $2,300.
No kidding. 23.
Well, you got to play the hell out of that thing.
You got to play a lot of gigs to get in the black with that set.
Holy Christ!
That's the Babinga wood. That's the top of the line. You can get Sonors for less money than that, but boy, that's stuff. So what are you playing now? What kind of stuff?
Well, I have a mix. I still have the snare drum that Jake Hanna. Well, it's a Slingerland, right?
Yeah.
That Jake Hanna. Wait a minute. I have the drum that he gave me.
Yeah.
When I was with Maynard.
I thought he lent that one to you.
No, he didn't. Well,
Jake, we found your drum.
Well, you know what? Yeah, well, he did. You know what? This was what he. That name he keeps. keeps
the
coming
Rudy?
across. Yeah, it just keeps coming right across. Not enough for me to grab onto it, just enough to drive you batty. You know when them things going to drive you nuts. No, getting to your question, man.
I'm thinking about it too, Rudy.
That's a Gretsch. Really, that is one of the first.
Oh, it's not a Gladstone, is it?
No, it's not a Gladstone. That's the first snare drum. One of the first of the what they call the chrome.
Gretsch Chrome?
It's a Gretsch. That's what the drum was that he. But I mean, I still use. I have a Slingerland bass drum, and I also have a Slingerland snare drum that I use too.
What's that bass? 20?
Yeah, mine's a 20, right?
Yeah.
20, and then I got a 16 tom-tom and 9
by 13.
No, I got an 8 by 12. What are we talking about? I had not a 16. I have an 8 by 12 tom-tom and a 16. The 8 by 12 small tom-tom.
That's a good spread. Those two, the little ones.
Ding.
Boom.
Yeah, right. It does, right. You can get some good leverage.
Yeah,
right.
My problem was get them where I can reach it.
Get them where I can reach. I can hear the powder room again.
16 by 16 tom-tom.
The Radio Kings? Yeah.
And a night on an Gadd. That's the finish.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even make it anymore.
I remember that.
Gadd, A-G-A-T.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then they used to have. Remember during the war, they made Radio Kings with wooden lugs on them. Have you ever seen any of those things?
Right. That's right.
That was incredible. What else do they have written down here? I want to ask you about. Oh, I want to take the lectures you've been doing. How long you've been doing those, and what do you?
Oh, the lectures.
What do you cover on those things?
Yeah, well, it covers goes back to the history of like say the sound, the drums, and if you're playing them, some of the rudiments has to go with the
clinics.
To playing the clinic. Yeah, it's a clinic.
Okay.
Yeah. In the first one, not the first one. I'll say the first one dealing with advanced drummers was at the Ramapo College up there in Marwa, Marwa University, and that's why I told you Paul Jeffrey is a good teacher because, he played up there. He's a much better teacher than a player because we did it together up there, and then. I did some for the elementary schools. I did over El Dorado, up in Spring Valley, and also along with Amy Kemp, we did a few clinics. I did the one down at Howard University, and all that because I was with him at the time. But there was a couple guys were chosen from different bands. Frank Foster. His Loud Minority Band. He brought a couple guys from Ricky Ford, and they had a few fellows, and we spoke about just the jazz, basically, jazz, and with the drums, we spoke about playing them, being versatile, the versatility, and they'd have a question and answer period where the students would get up and ask different questions, about. When you started, I mean, was it, easier to play, with a big stick? And, drummers, they're going to ask you these little things that, that's what drummers, different horn players, they're asking about the bell or the horn.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things, that they ask you, you wonder, you say, well, damn, it says these guys are here in college, you would think that they would, things about what size stick did you use when you... And do you find that this 5D is better than the Roy Haynes 7A? When the Roy Haynes stick was a popular stick.
Yeah.
And one said, you find the Jake Hanna model, this and blah, blah. Most of them are asking about sticks.
In colleges?
Right. Those drummers down at Howard University. I'm not saying every drummer, but a lot of them were asking you, things.
So what do you tell them? Do you say, hey, at this point, you're not supposed to be worrying about stick sizes?
Well, you'd say, that's not the important thing. Really, when you got that when the drummer, as you know, he builds up his stamina and build up the wrist.
Mm-hmm.
unless they are Lionel Hampton stick, which is as big as a baseball,
Hampton
then that's
stickers?
a different. Yes, they have to. You know, that's a different thing. But I mean, others you can speak about. I mean, the other sticks. I mean, you know, from a regular size 5Ds are big sticks, and 7As. Jake, all those guys, man, had beautiful sticks. Joe Jones had a model out. Sonny, they had the Sonny Payne model for a long time, which was a good model. Mel Lewis had a model with Rich. A lot of guys had, and they were good sticks. Now I found that the Louis Belson model stick, and the Sonny Payne. Mm-hmm. Well, during that time I was working with Maynard, and I needed a heavy ball, tip. Yeah. Because of the fact that playing, with so much dynamics, if you didn't have a heavy, well, all of them are going to chip eventually. Mm-hmm. They're going to wear. Because I found that the nylon tip was a very good invention for the stick. If you got one that would stay on, if you get now they got that crazy glue now. If those companies had used crazy glue, well then too you got to look at it like this. They're in the business. Yeah. I have to look at, you see, the older you get,
they want the tips to fly off.
You see what I mean? Now, that comes from, that's what Monk's talking about. There's some things you just don't get without age, without living. You finally say, well, why did these tips fly off? Now, they could have put all those millions of sticks that they manufactured, they could use a double coating of crazy glue, and it would never come off.
The tip would be left after the stick.
The stick was sick.
Right?
The stick, am I right?
Yeah.
But that's not. It's just like the stocking, the woman's stocking. Yeah. They had right now. They have a material.
Never wear out.
Never run.
Yeah.
They put it out for a while, and it was the biggest. They had the biggest opposition, and one of the big money guys bought, he brought that, he bought the idea, whatever, and paid that idea off, and you never heard of it anymore. It came out, it said, run the stockings. But let's face it, if a woman buys stockings for what, $3 or whatever, and if she wears it, it never runs. That's the basic thing.
You're out of business.
So that's the same way, Same way with that stick, and I said, oh my God, all guys would get that stick, man. That tip would be there. That nylon tip, it's not going to split or crack. Well, it might. Well, that's another, that's another reason too. I mean, if some of them would, eventually, through age, and it might split. But if you're playing in a moderate, attack, without bamming, you could keep a good nylon tip stick. You pay $3 for it. They're expensive, but you pay that $3, and if you didn't crash and bam on your rim, you got a stick that's just going to last you for 8 or 9 months, maybe a year.
Even for big band?
Even for big band.
Wow.
That's if the tip stays on. Because I've had them to last that long. Now, they'll get chewy and, kind of splintery, around the middle part. Sure. But the main thing that the drummers would be concerned about, and even myself, you're concerned about that ping. That's that with getting that cymbal. Those guys. It's like Steve Gadd is doing on this thing here. When they go in and play, he's going. You hear. I mean, it's just so even. Yeah. So the same guy, Shelly Manne is doing with a record you played. Right. You hear it's it's just
crystal clear.
But see, you won't get that effect. If that stick is gnawed up and chewed up on the end, I don't give a damn how much you pay for it. Once that tip, and usually that's what goes. That tip goes, and it starts to get scaly, and the threads and everything, and then you're going to get just a...
It's a dead sound. Yeah.
And usually guys like that, when that goes, what do? They go back and get 10 more, throw it away. But then too, like I'm saying, that's that's the business. Yeah. And so when you look and you narrow it down, you say, well. So you know what I would do, and what a lot of other drummers, I was talking to Philly Joe Jones down at Lush Life there about a year ago, and he had some favorite sticks that he liked, He told me that's why I'm speaking because I these give me. He says, look, that's when Crazy Glue first came out, you know, and he says, Frank, he says, you know, that Crazy Glue around there.
That's what he does.
Yeah, but, he get a good tip, a sound that he likes.
Yeah,
just take the tip and put that, and you'll find also that if you pull, you yank on a lot of those sticks, you know, in the new, you yank and that tip will come out. It shows you what happens with a good combustion. That's what makes it fly.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say that eventually that won't happen even with the Crazy Glue, but it'll last another 5 to 6 months longer. Mm-hmm. You won't have to, you know, just be bashing out $3-4 every week, you know. So, I find that, you know, I find that appropriate, you know. So that's not only for the fact that you save money, but you can keep up your image of what you deliver. Mm-hmm. I mean, your particular sound, you know what I mean. And so getting back, you know, to what you were saying too about the seminars, you know, there's only been about a half a dozen that I've actually done.
But what's the one you're doing? You're doing something on a anti-drug lecture or something?
Yeah, well, tomorrow we're gonna be doing this thing at South Madison High School. And it's also going to be like a lecture. It's going to be about an hour and 5-10 minutes. It's going to be a lecture on. It started with the music, and basically it has to do with the drug rehabilitation for kids. Not rehabilitation because none of those kids in South Madison. It's an elementary school, but the thing is, this is a time where, you know, they're exposed to it so many different directions, so many ways. There's TV. If someone on TV, someone is either getting busted or they got big cases, small cases. They're looking there, and there's even when it involves a big figure or in politics or in government or someone like DeLorean who was just going to more or less defend himself. Every time you pick up a paper, this is the DeLorean on the cocaine or whatever, and is he going to get out of his, you know? And then you know what I'm saying? And these kids exposed to it. So a lot of kids, you know, in schools, you know, who get the papers, or their parents, or they're around, even if they're not aware of. Their parents is talking, and this thing comes up, drugs. Plus the fact, there's a lot of parents who will say to a kid, "Look, I don't want you, taking up an instrument, placing out, because you get in an instrument, you're going to get it."
You think that's still the image, like the basic public image of a jazz musician is a guy the dopers? And
well, they're not only jazz now. The rock. Look, it's jazz. To answer your question, it is the image that a lot of youngsters who are in elementary schools, have of just music. Period. Now that you find that in all idioms of music that this is supposed to be the today or the in crowd way of looking at the profession, that you gotta take a snort of coke to whether it's rock and
mostly rock now.
It's in rock too, but jazz was actually it was, I think, a lot of the musicians who were addicted, and then a lot of them who died, who later on they died, and then when it comes out, well, what was the reason? And they'll say, well, they had an overdose, or either whatever, kidney failure, and they were boozed, they were whatever, or they were snorting. So it's an image that most kids have. So what we want to do along with playing the show is to also put the point out there that we're up there, we're performing or whatever, and we're here at 9 or 10 o'clock. Just like they also have that.
Here we are.
You got that image. You can. What you mean? You got at 9 o'clock to you. I don't believe this. You here at 9 o'clock in the morning putting You guys are supposed to sleep all day. You know, I mean, in other words, and it's not as much, you know, now because you find there's music in all different idioms and all different, we have it in all different societies and whatever, you know, the appropriate music that is the background for what they're doing, whether it's a funeral or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm saying in rock and in jazz, it had really, this is the image. Not all children have of it, but and a lot of the school teachers who are teaching these kids, you know, and some of the kids who, like last night, I went and I caught my daughter last night at the Spring Valley High. Now, I caught her a year ago, and she was in the concert. She plays cello, and she plays also piano. Now, she's playing the cello in the concert orchestra, and my goodness, well, you know, it's not it sound like Leonard Bernstein, but you know, it's I. But
how old is she? How old?
Well, she's 16 now. Yeah.
Sounds familiar, Jack?
Yeah,
Jack's got a 16-year-old daughter.
Oh yeah. Well, then I know. Well, look, hey, it's. I know, you know, it's a lot of inspiration for you to just to see her go through her changes of, you know, what she wants, you know, to do or what she's involved in, whatever it is, you know what I mean. It's really, you know, it's really something, you know. You know, it just gives you a spark, you know, especially if you have a daughter that you've taken to have a piano lessons or whatever, you know what I mean. Like my daughter took her to a piano lessons, and then you took her, where?
Frank, the whole nut of the thing is, you buy the full piano.
Yeah.
And you start with the lessons.
Yeah.
She did that recital, by the way.
She did.
Yeah.
The raddest daughter. I said, "When are you going to go play?" You know, she wouldn't tell us.
Yeah.
She wanted to go see her. You know.
No. Man.
The auditorium there was loaded.
Yeah.
People standing outside.
You went?
No.
She didn't tell her father.
Patsy went.
Oh.
My wife went. She did so well.
Mm-hmm.
Now you forget all about the cost of the piano and the.
That's right. When they're doing, you know.
I can't even find middle C on that thing. You know?
Oh, here, let me show you.
Yeah,
right. I'll mark it for you. You know?
Stick a Doers white label on it.
Yeah, right. Stick a Doers white label.
God.
Yeah, well,
but you go in that. Did you go through a period of craziness too when you were drugs or booze? Or
well, no. You know what? I'm gonna tell you. I had the willpower to. Yeah, I went. You know, I came up in the era where, you know, the guys was all around. You know, with the pot and all that stuff. And the thing is, when you can come through that stage and find that you can have the control to check that particular thing out and go the direction that your mind tells you to go, without the media saying, wait, once you smoke that stick of pot, you're going to go further. It's not going to be strong enough. You're going to have to take the needle. You're going to have to pop the skin, and then after that, you're going to go from that to somewhere else and somewhere else. But you see, that wasn't the way it was with me. Yeah. I had, you know, that's the reason even to my daughter. Now, she was 12 years old. She's sitting there. Now, we had the drinks around, and, you know, and my theory was to when she, you know, don't hide it. It's just, if we're going to invite people in and we're going to bring out dinner wine and all this wine around there, and we got people there as guests, and you're pouring this wine from, and then she's sitting there, and she's, you know, she's growing up, and she wants to, you know, it's like kids. They're curious. Well, what is that? Can I have? So the mother saying, now look, don't bother that. That's not for you. You get here. I got this for you. So, but the thing is, you got it there in front of her. Yeah. So you know what? My theory is just like it was with me, with the pot and the heroin. Yeah. I smoked the pot and that other stuff, the speedball mixed with the heroin and all like that. And but you know what? I found out that boom. it didn't register with me.
Yeah.
It made me sick, made me throw up.
Mm-hmm.
I had that, really, I had a speedball, and that thing, you know what I mean?
What the hell is that? What is it? Speedball with what? What they mix it with?
A mixture of the little Coke and the Heron. They mix it together.
Oh, okay.
Take 2 caps out,
right.
and even that with the pills. And all, but you know what? I found out that didn't agree with me, and that thing of saying, "Oh, I'm hooked." I never got hooked. Guys were around me, putting needles in their arm when I was a job. I've even, of course, I worked in the hospital, for a while as an attendant, or a nurse's aide, or what. And I knew about catheterization tubes, because I used to have to, order them on Central Supply.
Yeah.
So, and I know how to tie them around, and I do TPR. Well, at that time, they weren't teaching what they teach now. You have to know a lot to have a job. But what I'm saying, I knew about those catheterization tubes, and these guys tie them around their arms to find their veins, make their veins pump up. Right. I've even assisted guys in doing it, and they tell me, I can't find it. You tied it around, and I've assisted. And as soon as he said, I found, this is good. I found one here. Hold it tight, and he go bloop, and when I take the thing off, he says, baby, thanks so much. Then he says, come on now, let me do you. And I said, no. Mm-hmm. See, but that wasn't, now, everyone was telling me, look. But maybe at that time, I was maybe smoking maybe a little marijuana, but they said that you're going to go further.
Yeah. And
I said, no, but then after a while, I didn't even need the marijuana, and I was also smoking cigarettes, and after that, I gave cigarettes up.
Do you hate guys like this?
Now.
The wrong house down.
So this guy came to the wrong. He came to the wrong residence tonight. He should have kept on down the road. Huh? He should have kept stepping.
How old do you think Frank is, Jack?
Hey.
Watch this.
Yeah, well.
No hints. No hints.
I don't want anyone to ask me how old I am.
Come on, I'll take full responsibility. How old would you guess? Serious.
It's hard to tell. I'm not good at guessing.
Hey.
35. Isn't it amazing? Now he's, 56?
Well, you know what? Hey, he would know better because he's been sitting there. He's been listening to us talk.
Yes,
so
he
said he heard Lionel Hampton. He's gonna cool it. He's not gonna jump right in like he was. He's heard too much.
That's
you
right.
gotta ask him this when he don't hear
Right.
all of this about. You're talking about going back with Jimmy Lushford and Tommy Dorsey and all these people. Wait a minute now. You got a collection. See. But you got to ask him when you don't know about those things.
There's no way you look like 56 though.
There's no way. It was 57 now.
You're 57?
Yeah, I was here.
When was your birthday?
In December 6th. I just had a.
December 6th?
Yeah.
Phil Jonas' birthday.
Yeah.
Who?
Our best friend.
Your best
Phil
friend
Jonas.
was on the 6th?
Yeah.
A Sagittarian on the 6th?
Yeah.
Well, tell me this. Does he or she like fresh air? Do they like air? Like to be out to do things in
He
sports?
just came back. Well, he's not an athlete.
No, he's
He's
not
not
an
an
athlete. He's an
athlete.
artist.
Artist.
He's an artist, but does
He likes to be outside.
he likes to be outside?
Yeah.
Him and Bill Jonas born on the same day, huh?
Oh,
He gets bored very easily.
Yeah.
Very easily.
Sure,
Likes to keep going. a
Likes to
Bill?
keep going,
Yeah.
right? Whoa, that's
He
he's
come
not.
into my house down there, sit at the bar, and that's the trouble. It took him off the candy,
4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
He went to rehab center too.
No kidding, to the rehabilitation, yeah.
Yeah.
What
And,
was for the
St. Louis.
AAA?
Yeah.
No, in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Alcohol Anonymous?
Yeah.
It was St. Mary's Hospital or something like that.
Yeah, but then after you get out, you go into AA.
Yeah, when you go, I see.
I didn't get all that. All I got was one long sentence from my doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Either quit or you're gonna die.
Yeah, right. That's right. One long sentence.
Well, Jack, we'll give you an option here.
He gave me a year, and you keep going the way you're going.
Mm-hmm.
And these two can tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always walking around or
Mm-hmm.
even on the mower.
Yeah.
Another glass with me.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't iced tea.
Yeah, I know you.
And,
That's
I put many years ago, someplace near Times Square, print up these false headlines.
False, yes.
And he got
put the false headline on the paper. They still have that place there.
That's a good idea.
That's a false headline. That's good. That's a good little gift. Comical gift.
Wilson goes on wagon.
Yeah.
Liquor industry panics.
Yeah, right. There is right. That's a good. Put extra. I know those guys that make anything you want is so many words you can use. But I mean, it's really. I mean, I've always had the control.
There was a lot of guys there in the bebop era that just bit the dust. Good
when
careers,
I was as hard as I was working with, and even Maynard's band, of course, now and with the last 7 years that I've done with Hampton, my goodness, if I was addicted and was on drugs with the way I have to hold that, the way he works, man, God bless his soul. This man, even himself at 80 years old, man, he's out there. Well, he's got to be 80 or 81 now. Sure he is, and he's still out there. You know what I mean? Working you, man.
He and I were born on the same day, April 12th. Lionel
That's
Hampton.
Right. It's April 12th.
Me too.
That's right. That's his birthday. Right. The same day, huh?
Yeah. Well, he's a little older than I am, but
he's a whole lot. He's a lot older. But I'm just saying that.
You were saying there was guys that literally died on the drum chair in that band.
There were.
Wilbur Hogan?
Well, I know of. Well, Wilbur Hogan didn't die. It wasn't on the chair, but he passed. Where was he? I don't think. Well, he wasn't not for playing, but I think not him. But he worked very very hard. With that band, and I'm almost certain that that band, his working as hard as he worked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He had a lot to do.
Was he a big guy or a little guy? Did you ever meet him?
No, he was. He wasn't large. I mean, he wasn't like. He was a little thinner than you were.
Wow.
This kid. What was the other guy? No, he's on doing Broadway shows now. The one who had to go into.
You were telling me about that guy.
Jenkins. That was a drummer. George Jenkins, but he died. Wait a minute.
Did the drummer actually?
Wait a minute. What was the drummer? Not crazy. Who was the drummer that was with Jimmy Lunceford?
Jimmy Crawford.
Okay. Now I know. I can tell. But okay, I don't want to get the two mixed up.
Yeah.
It was George Jenkins who
died on the bandstand.
I think either died on the band or that band killed him.
You're kidding.
Band killed him. At least